All right, welcome back to part 2. Didn't think I was going to be doing a part 2, but I got a couple of comments and questions, so let's do this again. I purchased the TC Helicon V100 acoustic and vocal amp for playing solo shows and stuff, and some people asked about the volume, the sound, how far can it throw, all that kind of stuff. And I didn't include that in that first video, so here's part 2. I'll show you everything that I've got, how I set it up. I bought this SKB case to carry everything in, including a mic stand, which is great, so let's take a look and see what we got. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is that everything does indeed fit in this SKB box. So let's get this thing open and see what we got here. So I've got the amp here and everything else in this section. You can see this mic stand broken down. It's in 2 pieces. It does come apart in several options, but I just take the top part off to fit all in here. And everything else is here. So it does fit. All right, so now that you see that it all fits, the mic stand that I've got has an iPad clamp on it, and I use that when I'm playing. So that's what the iPad is on now that you're watching me from. So that's back there. Everything else sits right here, so let's take it apart and see how we fit it together. This is the amp. We're gonna sit up here on the tailgate. XLR mic cable, 1/4 inch cable, pedal that comes with the amp for loops and effects, power cable. I keep a mic in a bag just for a little bit more protection, and I'm just using a regular 58. Guitar stand, because I do have a guitar. We'll show how that gets some sounds today. Keep that in here too. And then I've also got an extension cord with a 3-way prong. I rarely need it when I'm playing solo stuff. I'm usually close enough to a wall, but it stays in here too. And that's everything that's in the bag. When I cut out the foam, I had to cut this out to make things fit a certain way. I wish I hadn't. It would have been great if they were together. But it still works. I just kind of piece it back in here. And so you've got a section for the amp, section for everything else, and it all fits in this nice little box. Okay, let's put it together. Okay, let's talk about what this sounds like. Now it's going to be really hard for you guys to tell what's what making the sound. So here's what I've got just so you can have an honest picture of what's going on here. I'm wearing the Rode 2 mic right here. That's where you're hearing me talk through. I've got a second mic over there by the amp. There's nothing coming out of the amp other than the speaker. There's no plugs or anything. I'm just recording to an iPad 10, but these mics are going right in there. So what you're going to hear is the sound. The amp's not on yet. You're just going to hear the acoustic nature of this guitar, what it sounds like with the microphones that I've got placed. One here and one there. There you go. All right, my truck's got a power supply on it, so we're going to use that today. We're going to turn this on. All right, we're powering up. I've got my volume at 50% on the guitar input, and the master down to 0 right now, but we're going to turn it up. All right, the master's about 0% as well. A little delay on there. All right, I'm going to turn that delay off, actually. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play a little thing on the guitar and loop it in. I've got my looper volume set to 100%. It's as loud as the looper can go, which should be even to what I put into it. So what I'm going to do is play a loop here, and then I'm going to turn this master up to about 75%, and we're just going to walk away. And you're going to hear what my microphone sounds like as we walk further and further away from the amp. So here we go. There's the looper. All right, let's move away. All right, so we're starting to walk away. I'm in a high school parking lot here. So what you're hearing now is the mic. So I'm about 80 to 100 feet away. You're hearing me talking through the vocal mic. So this is the vocal mic sound. The guitar is not overbearing. I can have a conversation with someone. I can still hear what's going on, but I can hear it. I'm outside, I can hear it directly in front of it. Now we're gonna switch to the mic. All right, so what you're hearing now is this microphone picking up me and the guitar. So it's hard to tell what you can hear on your end, but from where I'm standing from right here, about halfway between the camera and the amp, I could have a conversation with somebody. It's a little bit louder than I would want, but for a party, if you're outside, people hanging out, it's not any louder than maybe your music might be playing. So it's not overbearing, but it's definitely got some volume and punch and works great. Let's turn it up a little bit more. Okay, this is volume at 75%. Same loop, 75% volume. Let's go back a little further. All right, so I'm not a real good judge of how far this distance is, but you can see I've got typical parking spaces. If you want to Google how wide your typical parking space is, you can do that. If you want to Google a stride and see how many steps I'm taking, I'm about halfway between the camera and the amp. The amp's at 75%, and it's pretty loud, but not overbearing. I can have a conversation over it. Definitely the closer to the camera I get, the lower that volume gets. But even this far away, I could have a decent conversation and hear that going on. So about what your typical PA system would be for somebody doing an outdoor event. All right, what you're hearing now is just me talking through the microphone that I'm wearing. The amp is not, it's on, but it's not powered up. You can see the master volume's all the way down and the channel volume's all the way down. This is the guitar by itself. There's your guitar. All right, we'll crank this up about halfway and we'll turn the master up about halfway. There we go. You've got your anti-feedback. I'm not going to worry about that today, but you can mess with that if you want to. I will go through the body res though, the supplementing your pickup sound. Hard to see. This is the red. This looks like the blue. The sun makes it hard to see. And this is the green. All right, we're back to off. It's blank here. I don't know if you can see it with the sun, but it's off, no light. Okay, let's mess with these EQ. We'll turn the bass all the way down. Everything else is straight up. And now 100%. Back to 50, mids down. And mids 100%. Highs down, and back to 100%. So it's got a lot of room to play with the tone that you want to make sound like. All right, so we've got chorus, reverb, and echo. You can all turn them on or off. You also have 3 versions of each of them. Chorus is a detune, a silk, and a corona. Reverb is a room, a club, and a hall. Echo is tape, digital, and slap. You also got a tap tempo for how that is affected for the echo, where you just tap it here and you can play it if you want. The downside about these is that you don't feel a notch in between the different settings. So when you're going from detune to silk to corona, all you're gonna do is hear it change. You're not gonna be able to feel it change. So when we get the chorus here, we'll turn this chorus up. You can hear it take an effect, but as soon as I go up to cross into silk, all you hear is the chorus drop to 0 and then start to build 100% again on the new setting. Hear it right there. There's no real chorus. You can hear it because it's switched over. So here's detune, switching to silk, and now silk at 100%, switching to corona, 100%. All right, we'll turn that off. Reverb, we're off. 100% of room. Switch to club, 100% of club. 100% a Hall. All right, reverb off. We'll get to tape delay, 100% of tape. And I'll tap it. Switch to digital, 100% digital. %, slap. About halfway slap. All right, volume is all the way up, but the master's all the way down. What you're hearing now is just me talking into the mic that goes into the iPad here. And we'll start to crank this up into the mic, and now you're hearing more of a mixture with the actual amp. So you've got adaptive tone. I don't hear a whole lot of difference. It maybe adds a little bit more warmth when you crank all the way up and sort of off when it's down, but I keep it at 0 or right in the middle there at the notch. It sounds decent to me, but I don't know much of a difference when you adjust this. Pitch correction, I've just never messed with, so I'm not going to mess with it today. I don't have any information to tell you on it. But the harmonizers are great. This one is set to up and down, up a third, I think even down a fifth. I've got the harmony all the way on. So what I'm going to do is play, turn my guitar a little bit. I'm just going to play this G note on the guitar string, and you can hear the harmony. And if I were to go up, you can also change notes. If I change notes on the guitar, it will adjust the harmony. So I'm going to sing a slightly different note, but I'm going to play a D string. So I'm going to go from G to D, and you'll hear the harmonies switch chords as well. There's a G, this is D, back to G, E, and you can do all kinds. You can change all kinds, but if your guitar is not importing the notes of the chord that you're trying to get harmonized, it's just going to take a guess. Every time I've done this like this, just sort of really laid back, it goes to major by default. So just make sure you're playing the chord that you want to have harmonized. I'll show you some more examples. G string, D string, E string, A, and I've got the 7th, D, back to G. So you can hear even without a full strumming of guitar, just picking up decent harmonies. All right, let's run through reverbs real quick. This is the 3 reverbs, room, club, and hall. Again, you can't tell when you're switching. You just know it gets all the way up, and then all of a sudden it drops back down to 0 for the next style of reverb. There's no notch built into the knob to know where the switch is. So this is room, club, and hall. We'll go over to echo. Again, the same thing. And you can tap your tempo, digital, and up to slap tempo. All right, so one last thing about this amp. All the effects that you do, if you're going to go into the looper, you need to do those effects pre-looper, before you hit the pedal and hit the loop button. Once you've hit the looper, you're not going to be able to add or change any dynamic tones or EQ or anything. What's embedded in the looper is what's going to come out. So if you wanted to add reverb or something, it's not going to do it once you've looped it. You'll have to imprint that in ahead of time. So there you go. TC Helicon. I really like it. Hope this gives you some more information of whether or not you choose to buy it. It's been great for me for solo things. I've never really used it outside, but inside it's fantastic for smaller venues, smaller number of people. I have used it as a monitor once or twice before, and it works really great as a monitor for me, because you can run everything into it and then go direct out in separate channels. So your PA system can still have your vocal and guitar on separate channels. So I love it. If you have questions, put some comments down there. I'm happy to answer anything I can. keep playing.